Hi, so today, Andrea Palgett with Coldwell Banker. We're here with Mark from Spectrum Thrift Store. So preparing for Thanksgiving, I wanted to engage with a company that does a lot to give back to the community. So we're here with Mark, and Mark is going to start by telling us just a little bit about his company and how he got started.
Thank you for coming today. It's called Spectrum Thrift Store, and it's because I have an autistic son, and we were wondering when he was 13 what he was going to be able to do as far as job-wise. So me and my wife, she's a big thrifter, and she said, why don't we start a thrift store so he can get those job skills and life skills. And so just so happened that we came down to an existing thrift store that was going out of business. So we ended up quitting our jobs and starting this. And through the years now, we've had probably over 200 autistic individuals and developmentally delayed individuals come through and get job skills and life skills, and it's been a blessing.
So that leads to the next question. So I really love your mission statement and what you guys do here as far as like helping people get prepared to go into the real world. So can you talk about that and just the on-the-job training, I guess?
Sure. So about a year ago, someone had told me we were having a lot of these companies drop off individuals and say, hey, we have some volunteer for you, and could they work for you? And I was like, oh, absolutely, that's what we do. And then someone told me, hey, you should be a Florida Department of Education vendor. And what that means is I can take this individual, be able to pay them, and get reimbursed by the Department of Florida, Education in Florida. So we started doing that, and since that, it's really grown. We've been able to open up a second store, although in the midst of COVID, in Mandarin. And so it gives these kids more opportunities and more hours to be able to get to learn these skills.
And how has COVID this year affected your business?
With that being almost, it's like free labor. I mean, as a small business owner, I love the fact that I was getting reimbursed. They were learning these skills, but they were really doing stuff. I mean, they sweeping, putting clothes on hangers, tagging clothes. I had one kid, actually, I call them kids because they're all about between 14 and 25. But they were doing my QuickBooks. I mean, they were doing deposits. They were doing the register. And then when that happened, of course, a lot of them have the immune systems and where COVID could really affect them. So we really didn't want to put them in any kind of risk. So that program went away until we felt safe about bringing them back, which we have now, and not sure what we're going to do in the future. But it went down to just me and my wife, actually. We went from close to 25 employees to me and my wife for about a month and a half, and that was kind of tough. And then the shopping.
Both stores?
We didn't have the store. We had one lady working at the other store in March. Yeah, but we came down here, and this is the 8,500 square foot store, which when you only have two people working, it's kind of tough. And we had to come down to, we were open 7 days a week, but we went down to 5. But we stayed open because we were an essential business selling medical equipment and home office supply stuff. A lot of people thanked us for that because they were able to, we were setting up a home office, but the companies weren't paying them to set up the home office.
Right.
So, you go, I sell monitors for $10, where why would you go pay, $80 or $90 to go get a monitor when I have it for $5 and a keyboard for $2? But we felt good about staying open for the community in that relationship. But plus, a lot of people were at home cleaning, getting rid of a lot of their stuff, and they had nowhere to put it.
That's kind of what I was going to think.
Yeah.
There's been like a slew of people that are just doing all these different home projects, and I would think decluttering would be one of them.
It was, and we were the only thrift store open. Actually, a lot of the other thrift stores closed, thinking they weren't essential, and when I looked up the definition, we were essential. So I stayed open, and we got a ton of donations, and we were very thankful to the community for that. So. And that brings me back. A lot of my communities, we're on the Next Door Neighbor app. I don't know if I get on there, and anytime anybody has a family that's in need or lost their house because of a fire or a homeless person or stuff, anything like that, I always tell them, hey, this is a community store. When I took this nonprofit, I had nothing to do with nonprofit 3 years ago, and I had to take classes to learn.
Right.
And it's nonprofit, it's not owned by anybody. It's supposed to be a community thing. And so it's a transparency and be a community store is what I always thought about. So that's what we did, and I'll give that stuff away for them for free. So that's you never have to come here if you've been in that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Up in the Mandarin store, we have a lot of homeless, and I'll just give out comforters and jackets right now, this time of need. So, but yeah, it's always a community store, and we're always going to be that way.
And you guys also have a give back program through is it the ESE organization?
We do. When I took over the business, the guy had a ton of books, and so he was just giving books away for free. And I was like, let's just keep that motto. Let's give it away for free, but they have to make a donation to our ESE classroom jar. And so as that money started going in, people realized what we were doing. We were starting to get more and more books, and so I was like, the donations started coming in. And so now I think in the 2 years and 7-8 months, now we've given over $20,000 back to the ESC classrooms. And we really try to target Title I schools. We started here locally and was given to, the creek sides and a lot of these places because that's where we were close to. And they are starting to tell us, hey, look, you need to go down to St. Augustine. You need to go to some of these places in Clay County where they could really use this money. So we started doing that. And now I think we've hit every Title I school in St. Johns County, and we're working on Duval and in Clay now.
Homeschool might be a good opportunity as well.
Yeah.
Like I have a homeschool person, and they meet and they have actual classes like once a week. So that might be a good opportunity as well.
As long as they're nonprofit,
Yeah.
Because I had a lady came in the other day when she was buying like $45 worth of stuff, and I was like, "What all this for?" Because it looks like it's a classroom, and she goes, "Oh, we're starting we have Morning Star Academy, which is for autistic." And I was like, "Well, is it nonprofit?" She's like, "Absolutely." So while she was buying her $40 worth of stuff, I went in the back and I wrote a check for $450 to the school, so she could take that money and be able to use it for it's little stuff like that. I can always tell these ESE teachers, it's a different breed. It really is. You have to. I know what I do. I do my on-the-job trainings with my kids on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And after that day, you feel fulfilled, but you're very tired, and so any kind of thing that you can get in support of what you do is just amazing for these teachers.
How do you, what are all the different ways you accept donations? I know on your website I saw that you can donate that way.
Oh yeah. As far as monetary wise, you can donate through the website, and that goes through, I guess, Venue or Stripe, and then it gets deposited. All that money goes into an account. And all that money goes straight out of that account, straight into the hands of the community. So I'm always a big believer that you should be able to trace where your donation goes. Like, 100% of the money that you donate to a nonprofit should be able to be looked at to where it goes straight into the hands of where it's supposed to go. And so I made it where that's what we do.
Right. Well, that's really good. Is there anything else that you want to add today that you would like people to know about your company?
No, we're growing. We're growing. Our goal is to have one of these in every county, so that kids don't have to drive so far to get to a Spectrum Thrift store. And these on-the-job trainings, it does not just at Spectrum Thrift store. They can sign up with a vendor, and it doesn't have to be Spectrum. It can be, there's all kinds of different vendors out there, and they will take between the ages of 14 and 22. As long as you're in school, they can take you to a business and let them volunteer at the business and get reimbursed through Florida Department of Education. So it's a very good program. A lot of people don't know about it. I didn't know about it when I started this, and someone had to tell me about it a year in, and it took me a year to get my license. So it's a good program. They even have a driving for ADD and ADHD available that they'll pay for.
Nice.
So I'm just learning. We're all learning things about the autistic community. And when I went to play with the JSA, the school there, Michelle said something that hit me, and she said if the trend keeps going the way it's going right now, by 2030, 1 in 2 boys will be somewhere on the spectrum. So this is a well-needed thing, and I think I know.
Why is it boys? Is it a gender?
Boys are typically will have the ability to, I guess the stats show that boys have a better chance of getting autism than girls do.
Really?
Yeah, so there's like 1 in so many boys.
Why that is?
No, that's the thing. I think it's the diet. I don't know, but
all my friends that have autistic children, they are males. I never thought about that,
but it's a scary trend, So we have to train them to be able to have jobs, to be individualized, and that's why it's so important for a lot of them to come here, is because they feel comfortable. And a lot of them they're closed in. They're at home. When they're at home, they're shelled, and they want to do this, and that's all they want to do. Here, we make them come out of their shell to the point where they're more comfortable, where other businesses were like, you know what, he seems like he's fine. You know, why can, you know, because it took, you know, it could take 6 months, it could take 2 years. But the thing is, it's got to show a progression, and a lot of them show great progression, and we're so proud of them for that.
That's awesome. One of the things I just want to add is where they're located in St. Johns County. So they're just south of Racetrack Road, right off of State Road 13.
Yes, 616 State Road 13 and 11018 Old St. Augustine Road are the two store locations.
Okay, well, thanks, Mark.
Well, thank you.